Hello and good evening. Well, it's evening time here at least. I've got fairy lights switched on. I am sitting on my living room floor as per. I'm wearing pajamas, nice, warm, cozy pajamas. And yeah, I'm here. It is December. It's a kind of relatively cold, wet, very, very wet day today. For those of you that may not know, Vancouver is a very rainy city. Well, I'm in North Vancouver, but still, it's the same. Very, very rainy. And there's this topic that I've been wanting to talk about and share with you in hopes of shedding some light on this and to also hear about what you might think of this topic. And it is on being okay with disappointing people and actually having the courage to be disliked by people. When I say disliked by people, I don't mean being rude to others or being harmful and mean to others. What I mean is upsetting people in a way because you are looking out for yourself and you're trying to take care of yourself. And this topic has been very huge and big and clear in my mind lately because for myself and my personal experience, I've noticed that the more I am okay in letting go of certain dynamics and friendships and relationships go, the more I choose and allow myself to just disappoint people. And it's funny because when you choose to be okay in disappointing certain friendships that are no longer serving you, true colors, or at least true hidden feelings and past resentments will show up. But I say this in being okay and having the courage to be disliked by people is because we've got this one life, as far as we know. We don't know if, well, okay, let me backtrack a little. Maybe in the spirituality sense, there could be an afterlife, but let's just say that we only have this one life. We just have this one life here in this physical world and in this physical reality that we are at, or that we are living in currently, right now. And because of that, and because now you hold this knowledge and that you know this to be true to you, why live a life of trying to please others? Why live a life of doing things that compromise your inner being and your inner knowing? So an example could be, say, just for an example, you're at work and then you get criticism / feedback on doing certain things in a certain way. And while I do believe that it is important to accept criticism and feedback from your peers, I really want to challenge you and have you ask yourself, how does that make you feel when you listen to this certain feedback by these certain people who don't see eye to eye with you because you have a set of different beliefs and views and perspectives on different things? I say this because I myself personally am someone who feels very strongly about my own convictions. And yes, we can allow for room to make change and to do things differently in a way that takes us out of our comfort zone. But if there is something that is asking of you to change a set of behaviors of who you are and who you are at your very being, what serves what I'm trying to get at is, what does that serve? It just serves the people that you are working for or that you are working with. Essentially, if we get feedback from people that are asking you to change your behavior and to change yourself, one, it could mean that you were actually just being yourself and that you weren't conforming and that you were being true to yourself. And two, it is most likely that this person is not accepting you for who you are and how you do certain things. So let's really take a look at that. And by all means, I believe in free will. If you are okay with taking on that feedback and changing certain things and making things work for you, by all means, do it if that feels okay and good for you. What I'm trying to get at is, if it's not making you feel good, if you feel a sense of drag or a sense of obligation, or if it can't be described in words, it's a feeling of like, ugh, I don't want to do this. Ugh, it's compromising me, like who I am. Then that's a sign. And I say to have the courage to be disliked. I say this statement and this phrase with such strong belief now because I grew up until now doing things and wanting to do them from a place of obligation or from thinking that that was the right thing to do, or that it should have been done in that way. An example could be, if you are trying to do something out of obligation, that is telling you are doing something from an external motivation as opposed to intrinsic inspiration and motivation. It's taken me a while to realize that and to learn from these mistakes and to really rewire and change that. Having the courage to be disliked can also really show you and tell you who are the ones and what situations actually appreciate you for who you are, as you are, because you are already enough just as you are. There is no change required of you. There is just acceptance of how you do things. Sure, people can make requests out of you to do things a certain way, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't make us feel good, what's the purpose of that? If we can think, okay, I am changing and I want to do this for the betterment of a community that I want to serve, or because I do actually genuinely want to help people, then by all means, that's great. That's a genuinely loving, compassionate way of approaching it. The more I talk about this certain topic and the more I go down on this topic, the more I realize, wow, there are so many layers to this. How do I even sum up for one video? In my comfy PJs. But I hope that you know what I'm trying to get at. We've just got this one life, and we need to be okay in disappointing people, and we need to be okay in upsetting people, not from a place of harm, but more from a place of your own self-love and realizing and understand that you have limits, you have boundaries. And if certain things don't work because they don't, then that's okay too. Sometimes we don't need to force and try so hard to fix a situation or try so hard to make it work. Perhaps that is already a sign that that certain situation or that certain friendship is no longer in alignment. Another example is, and I can share my own personal experience on disappointing people in hopes that maybe you can resonate with this or relate to this. Looking from the perspective of, okay, I have two different situations. Let's call it situation A and B. Situation A, I have constantly been setting, my limits and boundaries and expressing like, hey, as much as I would love to help, I can't. I need to rest. I need to be in bed. I really appreciate you as a friend, but I'm so tired and so mentally exhausted. I hope that you're okay. And situation A has responded that with love and acceptance by saying, I totally get it. I had a sense that maybe you couldn't do it, and that is totally okay. I'm sending you love and healing energies. That is okay. So situation A has given you an image, an example that there are two individuals that are okay. How do I say this? That are okay in sorting things out by themselves because they're confident in knowing that, you know what, this is too bad, but I can figure this out on my own. And I hope you're okay. I hope you're well. So I really appreciated that, and I'm very thankful. So that was me being nervous about disappointing this person in situation A. But sometimes you just gotta, it is hard. Like, there's no denial that doing these things is hard. But at the end of the day, you owe it to yourself to try and to disappoint and upset people. And all we can do is, hope for the best and see how it pans out, see what might happen. And it's okay. It turned out to be okay. Situation A was very accepting and very loving, which I'm very thankful for. And now going to situation B, kind of the same thing, saying that I can't do this, because of certain changes in my life, and I don't know how to cooperate in this, and it's really too bad. I need to step away from this. And the response was, I received criticism and feedback from this. And there's no denial. There was inner turmoil when that happened. Like, my first response was, first inner response was, oh, I did something terrible. I did something bad. But again, I am my own individual. I'm an adult now. I needed to remind and tell myself, hey, actually, yes, it sucks that this person is responding in this way. At the same time, yes, learn to accept those difficult discomfort, the difficult discomfort. At the same time, it is not your responsibility to manage people's reactions, emotions, and disappointments. That's not on you. That other person is an adult. And it's unfortunate that this has happened. But it also showed me that perhaps, when you set boundaries for yourself, and when you have disappointed the person, it goes to show that perhaps this friendship was actually never meant to be in the first place, because there is no acceptance of one's limitations and one's complications and complexities. How do you say that word? Complexities. So yeah, it is unfortunate that these things happened, and I will admit that I was hurt by the response. Can't help my feelings. I can't suppress and shove them down. At the same time, I know that it's also my own way of, it's also me realizing that me being hurt about it is okay, but I can't project that onto someone else. It is me being hurt and upset by this interaction, and then also realizing, okay, this is telling me that I need to step away, and that this connection and friendship is just not meant to be. Having the courage to disappoint and upset people doesn't mean that there will be no hurt feelings on your end. There will still be hurt feelings. There will still be some nervousness and fear of doing that, some guilt. I felt guilty for sure. But what really matters, and the point I'm trying to make, is even though that these feelings that come up are uncomfortable and feel hard to navigate, don't let that stop you from being your authentic self, and don't let that stop you from expressing your true, honest feelings. We've only got this one life. You deserve to be your authentic, true self. And if you're hurt and if you feel guilty, allow that as well. If anything, it just makes you more human. You're not a robot. I always go back to this belief that guilt is not necessarily a bad feeling. I don't like labeling guilt as something bad. Guilt is just a signal. It's telling you something. It's a sign for something, however that may look like for you. So yeah, I hope that me talking about this and me sharing this topic with you has shed some light on what it means to really disappoint and upset people, because I don't know about you, but I would like to spend the rest of my years in this life just being my true, honest self, in a respectful way, in a true and loving and trying my best kind of way. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for today's video. I feel like I've talked a lot. Yeah, thanks. If you've watched all the way to this end of the video, thank you so much. Leave me some comments if there have been some nuggets and snippets for you. I would really love to hear. And if there is a topic that you want me to share and talk about in these kinds of videos, please let me know. I would love to help out. So yeah,